Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
This one's wife. Now it's the Beckhams' turn. The A-list bites back again. Picture, if you will, this one's wife in the corner of a boxing ring. She's there looking somewhat punch-drunk as Gwyneth Paltrow advances towards her and lands a left hook on her chops. "Take that," she announces. And on the boxing glove it says, "Dinner party with your friends, stylish launch of collaboration with Italian label." She follows up with a right hook. On the boxing glove it says, "I'm actually friends with Katy Perry, you're not." This one's wife's head reels as she's under this onslaught. Then Gwyneth Paltrow comes in again with another left hook. This time the boxing glove reads, "I actually am able to put out a cookery show video with a bona fide chef." This one's wife starts to look a bit glacier-eyed as a consequence of that. But it's not over yet for the Duchess of Delusion, as there's another right hook. And this time the boxing glove reads, "I'm supporting Kate." Gwyneth Paltrow feels a tap on her shoulder. It's Kevin Costner. "Mind out of the way, Gwynnie," he says, as he stands there, this time wielding a baseball bat, which is written, "Try to take over my charity event. Well, I'm going to say nice things about Prince William." And with a smile on his face, the Dances with Wolves stars slugs this one's wife right in the midriff. "Ooh," says the crowd as a consequence of this blow that's been landed against her. "Thanks very much," says a slightly weak, reedy voice, and Kevin then steps aside to reveal that it's Victoria and David Beckham, both sporting knuckle dusters on their knuckles. Where else would they wear them, I suppose? Well, yes, this is, of course, entirely metaphorical, and we would never encourage any kind of violence towards this one's wife, because that's not nice. Nevertheless, what we're seeing is the A-list biting back. As I explained yesterday, the A-list has got to where it has as a consequence of inherent talent and hard work. They do not like this one's wife. They do not like her because of herself. She's not a particularly likeable person. But moreover, they do not like her because of her presumptuous Janey-come-lately attitude of sharpened elbows, whereby she thinks that she could just waltz into the A-list without any effort whatsoever, be adored and be assimilated as a consequence of the fact that she has somehow gained a title by marrying a prince. No hard work, no talent, no effort, thus taking the piss out of all of the achievements of the genuine A-list members. And essentially, as a consequence of that transgression, various A-listers are now taking their opportunity to land some metaphorical blows on this one's wife. Gwyneth Paltrow's been doing it, Kevin Costner had a pop, and now it's the turn of the Beckhams. Emma Guinness reports in The Independent, deluded this one's wife thought she was higher in social ranking than Victoria Beckham. An explosive, kaboom, new biography about the Beckhams has claimed this one's wife deluded herself into thinking she was higher in social ranking than Victoria. Well, she didn't have to try very hard, because the narcissism would have caused that delusion whereby she believes that she's better than everybody else around her. The claim was made by the celebrity biographer Tom Bauer, for it is he, in his tell-all, The House of Beckham, which details Posh and David's allegedly tumultuous relationship with each other and other celebrities. Reflecting on the relationship between the couple and Prince Harry and this one's wife, the biographer claims that this one's wife initially put on airs around Victoria. That is entirely understandable. The chameleon that she is as a narcissist, she will have attempted to fit in with Victoria Beckham, subconsciously seeing the opportunity for character trait acquisition, potential residual benefits, and triangulation with other people by hijacking a friendship in order to make her seem more palatable to the masses by saying, hey, look, I'm friends with Victoria Beckham. Victoria Beckham had a career as a Spice Girl. She became more famous as a consequence of marrying David Beckham, but at the time, she was the more famous of the two. They've built their brand. They've stayed in the press. They've had some difficulties to deal with. They're not universally liked, but they've worked hard at the way that they have maintained their status. His talent as a footballer, her talent for remaining in the news, perhaps. But between the two of them, they've taken the head start that they were given, her being in the Spice Girls, him as a well-known footballer, and they've worked and worked at collaborations, building that brand, maintaining a family life, portraying themselves in a particular way. And it's taken years of effort, and it's caused them to accumulate significant wealth. Thus, this one's wife comes along and thinks, the Beckhams, they're famous, they're wealthy. Well, what I'll do is I'll be pally with them. And her narcissism drove her to do that because there was an opportunity to triangulate the Beckhams with other people, to control them, draw fuel from them, and to acquire character traits from them. She puts on these airs, which was allegedly the result of two things. This one's wife, as a Californian, felt little in common with the former Spice Girl, haughtiness, and because of her status within the royal family, which is rather laughable, isn't it? You're a mediocre actress, not known for anything other than perhaps being involved in a shitty blog, and now you think just because you've been given a title that you're better than a Spice Girl. In this one's wife's celebrity world, ranking depended on wealth and fame, Bauer wrote. As a seasoned operator, this one's wife deluded herself that her status in the royal family placed her above Victoria. Delusion, haughtiness, in the social pecking order. She was irritated, threat to control, to discover that the Beckhams had considerably more wealth than herself. Wealth, of course, a residual benefit, and learning that somebody's wealthier than her affects her need for control. They owned 5 homes, had constant access to private jets, I think he means repeated, invitations to sail on yachts, and much more money. And she was soon to be a duchess. But despite this one's wife's alleged decision to place herself above Victoria in her internal social ranking, the Beckhams reportedly made an effort with the former Suits star. This was claimed to be a result of their long-standing friendship with Prince Harry and William. Accordingly, the Beckhams thought, we'll hold our nose and deal with this Janie-come-lately for the sake of Hank and Wills. Bauer claimed that after this one's wife became a resident at Kensington Palace, a member of Victoria's staff offered Harry's fiancée advice on the best facials, no, not those type, this one's wife, and hairdressing in London. The soon-to-be Duchess allegedly also asked Victoria if she could give her free clothes and handbags, sense of entitlement, lack of boundary recognition, residual benefit. But this was vetoed by the palace for being against their rules. This one's wife reportedly took the Beckhams up on their hospitality, residual benefit, during a private trip to Los Angeles, where she stayed in their Beverly Hills residence. Her excuse was to avoid the paparazzi. At no cost, all her needs were secretly provided for by the Beckhams staff, Bauer wrote. If there was a hint that this one's wife was taking advantage of her new status, which of course she would do so, because she sees nothing wrong with that, given her inbuilt sense of entitlement, the Beckhams pushed their gripes aside. They continued, therefore, to hold their noses. However, while the two women managed to find common ground, or at the very least a way to exist in the limelight together, their relationship allegedly soured as a result of a story in The Sun. Only after The Sun reported how Victoria had given this one's wife makeup advice did the relationship between the two ambitious women crash, Bauer explained. Sensitive to the media's probing into her unusual past, this one's wife was outraged by The Sun's report. This was the latest of a series of nasty revelations by London's newspapers. Harry was ordered to complain to David Beckham. You can well envisage that scenario, can't you? Harry, get your peasy ass in here. I want you to call David Beckham and find out why his wife's been saying things about me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, my little Westphalian pumpernickel. I'll call straight away.
The fifth in line to the throne's alleged complaint saw the former Manchester United star ask his wife how The Sun had got hold of the information. That's when Victoria reportedly denied having a hand in the tabloid story and instead blamed a beautician, although the culprit was probably a boastful publicist employed by Beckham, i.e. it wasn't Victoria's fault, but this one's wife didn't give a rat's ass about that. She immediately blamed Victoria Beckham. The biographer then claims that a further issue soured the relationship between the two couples, Prince William's ongoing friendship with the Beckhams. Ever since the World Cup in 2010, the two had enjoyed a good relationship, Bauer wrote. For the Sussexes, who were already complaining about their unequal status, victim mentality, and wealth compared to the Cambridges, the sight of Bex with William was annoying. Bauer claims that in a bid to punish the couple, the Sussexes chose not to invite them to their wedding dinner. That's certainly the pettiness of a narcissist such as this one's wife, despite inviting other big names like George Clooney, who this one's wife did not personally know. The relationship between the two couples is now described as frosty by commentators. An anonymous insider told the Mail on Sunday that there was unlikely to be any reconciliation after David was left bloody furious by the accusation that the Beckhams had leaked information about the Sussexes to the press. Thus, we have an article as a consequence of the words of the ever-reliable Tom Bauer, which, for the purposes of promotion of his book, but also notice that the relevant parts of the House of Beckham appertain to this one's wife and Harry. The Beckhams have been around for decades. There's lots of different things that could be said, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it. But this is another example of how the A-list, in providing this information and having it aired through mainstream media, is taking another potshot at this one's wife. Gwyneth Paltrow's been doing it. Kevin Costner did it. Now it's the Beckhams, demonstrating the unpleasantness of this one's wife and highlighting the nature of her behaviour. It demonstrates that the downward spiral is quickening in pace. And let's see who else from the A-list now decides to come forward and add their voice to the gathering momentum, demonstrating that they too don't like this one's wife, and with reason. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.